right. So welcome to another episode of the Candid podcast. My name is Christiano Ken. I have Eli and Dr. Kevin with me right now. And we're going to discuss something that I feel affects the entire world right now. And I think you should give it an ear of consideration. At the end of this, we're going to discuss what we just saw. And yeah, we're going to go into it. So here we go.
Stop. Pay attention. Take a look at this crowded waiting room. These people may appear to be waiting for the eye doctor, but they're actually waiting for the first test subject in our hidden camera experiment. And here she is, right on time for her 12 o'clock appointment.
Hi, how are you doing?
This woman thinks she's here for a free eye exam.
Have you been here before? No, it's my first time.
What she doesn't know is that everyone else in this room is working for us.
I'll be with you in just a couple minutes.
Today we're running an experiment on social conformity, and the test starts now. Did you hear that? These people sure did. It doesn't take long for our test subject to notice a pattern. Beep means stand up. But why? And if you were in her shoes, what would you do the next time the tone sounds? While you might think you make your decisions all on your own, when it comes to peer pressure, all too often, your brain is just following the crowd. It's all around you, every day, an invisible force you're probably not even aware of. It affects what you do, how you think, and who you are. It's called social conformity, or peer pressure. And while it might not sound like a good thing, it's actually not so bad. The truth is, your brain craves synchronicity and takes comfort in the ease and efficiency of just going with the flow. And whether it's simply knowing what to wear in the morning, supporting your team at the big game, or even marching off to war, we're all programmed to be part of the group. And that's because your brain knows that there's power in numbers. We set up a hidden camera experiment to see if this woman would stand up at the sound of this tone, simply because everyone else is. You might be thinking you'd never go along with this. Or would you? After just 3 beeps, and without knowing why she's doing it, this woman is now conforming perfectly to the group. But what happens if we take the group away?
Elaine, please.
Okay, now she's alone. The crowd is gone and nobody is watching her, except our hidden cameras. What do you think she'll do? She's now conforming to the rules of the group without them even being there. Now, watch what happens when we introduce another outsider who doesn't know the rules.
Have a seat and they'll be out in just a couple minutes. Great, thanks so much.
Everybody was doing it, so I thought I was supposed to.
Think she'll teach the new guy what to do? We kept the cameras rolling as more unsuspecting patients arrived. And slowly but surely, What began as a random rule for this woman has now become the social norm for everyone in this waiting room. Here to explain what's going on in their brains is 𝘀𝘂𝗿𝗶𝗯𝗀 of the University of Pennsylvania.
This sort of internalized form of herd behavior is part of what we call social learning. Starting at a very early age, when we see members of our group perform a task, our brains literally reward us for following in their footsteps.
When I saw everybody stand up, I felt like I needed to join them. Otherwise, I'm like excluded. Once I decided to go with it, then I felt much more comfortable.
Conformity is how we become socialized, but it can also cause us to develop bad habits or repeat past wrongs.
And it's why even this rebel, who wasn't standing for any of this nonsense, eventually joined the ranks. And the only thing more shocking than seeing how easily conformity affects the way you act is that similar forces are subconsciously shaping the way you think right now.
So, give me your first reaction to that.
Well, I've seen it before, and I agree that it's highly relevant in our society right now.
Beyond, it is exactly what's taking place. And this is the easiest visual I've ever seen that I could send to someone when they ask me just explicitly about a mask in this modern day society with access to information and alternate resources other than the news media and popular propaganda, why I will not put on a mask for any reason. This has been my life stance indefinitely. I am not a line follower. I am a serial questioner. And this is an hilarious and perfect depiction of 99% of people in regards to this masking, just put it on because. Adding the whole, what do they call it? Gaslighting of, oh, I'm doing it to save someone else. Hey, cool, hold that. But don't impart a judgment on my comfortable space. You can have your judgments, you can love them and do what you want, but don't try and impede my freedoms to your detriment with trying to throw that on me. So yeah. Welcome to 2020. I mean, that sums up 2020. But honestly, what it really shows me is that I can now show people how I look at them as a whole, because I am literally just walking through life at this point, looking at it like the psychological pieces of manipulated energy that it is. And so when I look at every individual has aspects of humanity that they've conformed to, everyone. Shitting in a toilet is not a natural habitat, a space of where you put things and so forth. But like we can go to the most minute things that are part of humanity, which is why it was stated that that's both good and it could be bad. There are ways to look at what this does, but you have to acknowledge the impact and power of unspoken social conformality. This is a beautiful video.
It's a very scary thought. It's because what feels comfortable to us is what we generally go with the flow. And this is, in my practice, when I start talking to somebody, there is a part of me before I even go into a conversation with anybody that is, I know that I'm not interacting with this person right now in this moment. I'm interacting with their story, where they came from, what they live, their culture, their status, and even language itself. So it's scary to think when we have this type of awareness in us and people don't see it, and how we can just go, sorry for the analysis, but like cattle, just going straight, and we have no idea why. I really thought like that new dude was gonna say, so why are you standing up? It's like, I don't know. Hey, what is that beat? Why are you doing this thing?
That's easy to say on the outside looking in.
But in that, and she's busy, and you don't want to
but you've done it.
Yeah,
I've done it. We do it, but more of us. That's not my thing. So let's talk about standing in line. I was with this this young girl. We were at the Children's Museum in Atlanta, and she had never been to school. She had only been homeschooled and was just not even homeschooled, just life spoken and absorbed up until that point. I used to take her to business meetings and she'll be at the office with me. And so we went to the Children's Museum and they were doing this group experiment and whole process. And so the lady told them and says, hey, we're about to go see this, that, and that. All right. And then she says, let's get in line and go. So the little girl that I was with had never been in a line. And so what she did was, while everyone just kind of disappeared in her mind state of focus, everything was now open. So everything that she wanted to go to, there was no one in the way. She was right there and she got to see him at her own leisure. By the time she turned and looked around, because I was observing the whole time, by the time she turned and looked around, they were just now starting. And she had already seen everything at her own pace because it took them that long to get them in line and process this accordingly. So yeah, like that whole thing is, it starts early and under the right guidance, a new seed can actually come into this world totally different. So yeah, it is possible, but it starts at the earliest stages.
Mm-hmm. I'd say that's the biggest thing that prepared everything for what's happening now, is the institutionalized nature of conformity that happens at every level of society, from preschool to work to post-secondary education, and roping everybody into all of the levels of status mentalities and competition between each other along the way of being the same also gives a double hit emotionally and physically in the biochemistry of the brain. Now you both get a hit of getting high for conforming to the system and also for competing within it and being told that you're better than other people at the same time. And that's what is being propagandized to us currently right now. And actually, when you were just speaking, I was realizing what's really funny about me here right now on this call is that I haven't talked to Kevin in some time. He calls, there's a connection, gives me an update on some information, says, hey, we're doing a Zoom call. I'm like, I'm kind of partially doing my own thing, but that was a good moment. So let's see what's happening in this. And then here I am. So it may be a good thing for the world, potentially, but it also, the same psychological action subconsciously took place even in the search for being aware of this type of consciousness. I'm still conforming right now in one way to be here to talk.
It's a part, yeah.
Interesting. If you look at the macro and micro aspects of that. Cool. Well, yeah, this was just a quick take, a quick snap of something that popped up today. I wanted to have a conversation with Kev, and you came into our awareness. He hit you up, and the circle of communication happened. So welcome to the Candid 𝘀𝗿 podcast. My name is Christiano 𝘀𝗿. This is on YouTube, Spotify, and other places. Dr. Kevin has a Patreon where you can pick up different awarenesses, information, and conversations. It'll be in the show notes somewhere. And Eli has a whole bunch of stuff going on as well. So his link will be there as well. But keep listening, check us out, and holla back.